Hey y'all, it's Buffaque again. I've got another knife review for you today. It's been several months since I've done a video. Just haven't had anything that I felt like was really relevant or interesting to do a video on in the last few months. I do have another mouse gun review that I plan on rolling out for you guys, hopefully here in the next month maybe. But for tonight, I thought I'd show you guys this newest knife I picked up. This is the Spyderco Astute. This is one of their value line folders. If you're familiar with the Tenacious or the Efficient, the Emphasis, the Resilience, the Persistence, the Ambitious, all of those knives, this is a continuation of that line. This knife currently retails for about $46 to $48. I purchased it locally at Smoky Mountain Knife Works. You can also find it online at Amazon.com for, I believe, around $46. Currently on Spyderco's website, it is listed as being out of stock, but if you look at some other retailers like Blade HQ or Knife Center, they may very well have this knife currently in stock. I've had it for about a week now. I wanted to carry it a little bit before I did a video for you guys so I could actually have an informed opinion on the knife. And I gotta say, I like it. It's probably a little bit small for some of you guys for something like an EDC. As you can see, it is a very narrow profile, handle and blade, which is nice for a little classier gentleman carry kind of item. But for an EDC piece, you might want something a little bit broader or something with a little more reach. It reminded me a lot, just when I first saw it in the cabinet at Smoky Mountain Knife Works, it reminded me of the Kiwi. Now, I know it doesn't really look anything like the Kiwi, but just the profile being really narrow, I thought it looked a little bit like the Spyderco Kiwi. I don't have a Kiwi in my collection. I'd like to find one at some point because I think that's a really neat little knife that I'm pretty sure has been discontinued. So some specs on the knife. The steel, it is 8CR13 MOV. Like I said, with all the value line folders, that's the steel you're going to get. The steel does lose its edge easily, but it also will resharpen quite easily. I recommend, if you are wanting to get into learning how to sharpen your own knives and you're a little unsure of how to get into it, where do I begin, what's a good system, the Spyderco Sharp Maker is a great tool. It comes with a little instructional DVD that shows you how to do it, but essentially when you set the Sharp Maker up, as long as you keep your knife straight up and down as you're sharpening, it's really hard to mess up a knife with that system. So that's something I encourage you to look at if you're interested in getting into sharpening. Anyway, back to the knife here. 8CR13 MOV steel. It does have 4-way positional pocket clip mounts. So if you're left-handed, this is a left-handed friendly knife, aside from it being a liner lock, which we'll get to here in a second. But you can put this in a left-hand pocket, tip up, tip down, no problems there. Lanyard hole, it does have a smaller diameter lanyard tube, so you may not be able to feed some of the larger paracord lanyards that you like to make through this. Full flat grind on the blade makes it a great little slicer. On the back of the spine here, there is no jimping, so it does have a smooth ramp here. Some of you may not like that. If you like something a little more grippy, this has no kind of texture. It's really smooth. For me, I'm going to leave it the way it is because, again, for me, this is going to be kind of a dressy carry, kind of a nicer, more gentleman's carry kind of knife. But you could easily take a Dremel wheel to that and do your own jimping on the back of that blade without really having any kind of problem. The handles, these are G10. I don't really like G10. I think I'm probably in the minority with that. I know a lot of you guys really like G10, and G10 is a very grippy scale. I think they work very well. For me, I just don't. They're just a little too, I don't know. I don't want to say bland or plain, but I just don't get excited about a G10 grip. I don't know why. But that's what comes on the Astute, okay, those G10 scales. Blade length, they list it as 3.02 inches long. So you're right around that 3-inch blade limit. If you're talking about being in a city where 3 inches is the limit on the blade, this is the sort of thing that you've just got to make the decision for yourself if you're going to risk being searched. And if they decide they really wanted to actually measure the length of your knife, 3.02, depending on where you measure from, yeah, you would technically be over that 3-inch limit by 2/100ths of an inch, but still, it is technically just over that 3-inch limit. Last thing is, it is a liner lock locking mechanism. It's not my favorite. I don't love a liner lock knife. I prefer lockbacks, but again, this just has such a nice looking profile. I was really interested in it, and you're only going to get it in a liner lock, so that's kind of where it is. This is one of the China-made knives, so it's not a Seki City, Japan, and it's most certainly not a Golden Utah produced blade. This is one of the Chinese produced knives. But in my experience, these knives still hold up extremely well. They're not going to be quite as nice fit and finish wise as one of the Golden made knives, but for just less than $50, you're part of the Spyderco family. You've got a really nice pocket knife. I would still rather carry a Chinese-made Spyderco than a lot of other brands. Not all of them, but a lot of brands. I'd still rather carry something like this. Lastly, I'm going to give you just a quick look for a comparison. Here it is against a Native, and here it is against the Delica. All right, so that kind of gives you an idea of size-wise where you're at. Just looking at the span of the blade, you can kind of get an idea of here what I'm talking about. So it's got a decent reach on it, actually, but it's a lot more narrow. All right, so hope you guys found this interesting. Again, Spyderco Astute, nice, classy little carry, kind of a gentleman's looking pocket knife. Hope you found it interesting, guys. We'll see you next time.